Hi guys, have you missed me? Hope you are having a lovely day, and I of course am back with some new stories for you today. Let's go to the first one, about OP's father, who is blackmailing OP so she doesn't let her mom and stepdad visit and stay with her for Christmas, because according to him, OP's stepdad is a stranger. In my opinion, he is a horrible father. Listen to the story to find out why. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My mom and my stepdad visited me in my college town for Christmas. I've recently developed back problems, and my doctor suggested I should not travel for holiday. My stepdad is the most funny, kind, and generous person I've met. I've known him for 10 years. He has never made me uncomfortable. I didn't have a second thought about letting him stay at my apartment. I knew that he would be respectful not only to me, but also my house. I told my dad that they would both stay at my place when we talked on the phone. I later got a text from him asking for more information like, where does he sleep? Did he say anything weird that you're not telling me? Did your mom get your permission? I told him that he was acting weird and that I was totally aware that he is going to come too. He then said that I'm being rude to him because he is also paying for my apartment and I'm disrespectful by making it a hotel for anyone. I didn't reply, and 30 minutes ago, I got a text saying, since you are comfortable with strangers staying at your place, a friend of mine will stay there tonight because he is traveling too and needs a place to sleep for tonight. I talked with him and planned this. I know him, and that's good enough. Get him blankets and towels to shower. I haven't talked to my mom yet, and am right now in the bathroom crying. I can't believe he's able to do something like this. Even if he is bluffing, it's insane that he wants me to feel scared for my safety because he is mad at me. I'm freaking out that my doorbell is going to ring at any time. Well, first of all, OP's mom and stepdad are not strangers. OP's dad is comparing two things that cannot be compared. His friend, OP never saw, and OP's stepdad she knows for 10 years. I am sure he will not send his friend to stay with OP, but his behavior is disgusting. OP really needs to find a different apartment or start paying for this apartment herself. He is going to continue to drop drama in OP's lap because he is using the apartment to punish OP when OP doesn't do or say what he wants. Let's see if the community agrees with me. EcoMaj says, call the police if he shows up. Your dad may pay the bills, but he is not the resident. As such, he has no legal right to add anyone else without your permission. I'd recommend putting distance between you and him. Maybe find somewhere cheaper or split with friends where you can afford it off a part-time job. Your dad is a sociopath and willing to put you in danger to get back at your mom for leaving him. IJN Maya 202 says, your dad is equating your mom and stepdad to strangers and is sending an actual stranger to stay with you? What the duck? Has he always been this paranoid or jealous of your stepdad? He may be paying for the apartment, but you're the tenant. You don't have to let anyone you don't want in your apartment. Don't answer the door. You can call the police and tell them you don't know this man. Your safety is more important than your dad's feelings. Snoo Regrets 1386 says, I doubt your dad has some handy stranger in his back pocket to send over. The correct response would have been asking him how your mother and stepdad could be considered strangers. He's jealous that you've chosen to have your mom visit, but not him. Was he even available for Christmas? Has he ever visited? Is he an a-hole all the time? It's time to put your big girl pants on and prepare to pay your own way if he's going to pull his money. If that happens and you cower under his threats, you're going to be cowering for a long time. Edit. My mom went nuts when I told her, and she actually told me things about my dad that I never heard of. She said that he is trying to put me through the same aggression she experienced because he sends me money. No one showed up. I texted him this morning asking him about his friend, and he responded, no one was going to visit you anyway. I just wanted to test if you trust me as much as your mom to put a stranger into your house. I hope your stepdad is out. Going no contact was a great idea, but usually every time he doesn't agree with my decisions, he doesn't call or text for like 20 or 30 days. If I call him, he will answer, but he doesn't call or text me. So I, 25 female, have an older sister, 35 female. We don't have the same father. I'm actually the upcoming from a betrayal, and I'm well aware of this for a long while. My sister never forgave my mom for cheating on her dad, and we never had a good relationship. My dad wanted nothing to do with me when he found out about my mom's pregnancy, so she raised me all by herself. And she always explained to me why my sister didn't like me. The only interactions that we had with each other were in family gatherings and birthdays, but other than that, we barely talked, and she was always distant from my mother as well. Well, when my sister was born, My mom made a tattoo with her name on her arm in a very visible area so everyone could see. My sister always told my mother that she should erase the tattoo because she didn't want her name carved on my mother's arm. My mom always refused and said that she still loved it and it was her decision to keep it. A few months ago, though, I found my mom crying in her room and rubbing some exfoliating cream on her arm, and when I asked what she was doing, she said that she wanted to erase the tattoo. Apparently, my sister said something about it again at my cousin's house, but I wasn't present to know what. I told her that if she was uncomfortable with it, I could pay for a laser removal for her. She was a bit unsure at first, but she agreed, and I drove her to a clinic to do the treatment. Recently, we were in a family barbecue, and my sister saw the now barely visible tattoo, and she started crying hysterically. She didn't say anything to us, but she and her husband excused themselves and went home. A few of our family members asked why my mom removed the tattoo, and she couldn't answer. I got really angry and said that I was the one who picked the clinic, and if they wanted to be mad at someone, then it would be me. Some people called me an a-hole and said that I should have told my mom to not do this. But as much as I understand my sister's rage, I can't justify her being mad now of something she told my mom to do a dozen times before. Am I the a-hole? Well, that's a tricky one. I get both sides, to be honest. First of all, what OP's mom did was bad, and I can understand why OP's sister is angry. But from the other side, OP's sister needs to get over herself and get some therapy. Also, I think OP did nothing wrong, as her sister was constantly demanding mother removes the tattoo. So she asked for it herself, and now is angry. Sister wanted to simply keep slapping mom. She's 35. Long past time to grow up. Let's see the community's opinion. Ain't dat the truth, says. So the sister demands over the years that her mom removes the tattoo. Mom decides to do just that, not an easy decision. Then sister loses it when she sees it's gone. That is her issue. She got what she asked for. It's no one else's business. You did no wrong, whether you took mom there or not, and your mom did no wrong either. It's not easy being a parent. Sometimes you just can't make a child happy no matter what you do. Tell mom to hold her head high. Pesek1 says, not the a-hole. No, your sister does not have the right to keep demanding your mom does something and then complain when your mom does what she demanded. And the fact that it is your mom's body, your mom's choice. Projected Spirit says, not the a-hole. Your sister needs counseling for her bereavement over her parents' marriage ending. She needs to learn that you're not at fault there. And she needs to understand that ultimately, whatever happened between your mother and her father, it wasn't about her. So I, 29 female, was married for 1 year with my ex-husband, 31 male. We met at a party of one mutual friend 3 years ago, and I was instantly interested in him. My sister, 22 female, already knew him, and they had a fling before we met. I never had a big problem with this. They always acted just friendly around me, but now I see that I was being too innocent. My mother-in-law loves me and my sister with all of her heart. She always said that we were the daughters she never had, and we always did a lot of activities together. On the other hand, my mom never liked my ex. She had a lot of grudge for him because my sister had just started college when they hooked up, and the age difference was too big for her. But she was always educated with him. Well, I asked for a divorce a few months ago when I found out that my sister and him were seeing each other behind my back. My mom told me when she saw them kissing one time that he drove her home after a party. To say that I was sad is an understatement. I was heartbroken. I couldn't look at his face or my sister's. I didn't say to my mother-in-law why we separated, because I thought this was his responsibility. But I've been receiving tons of calls from her asking if I'm okay and saying that she misses me. I was not planning on saying anything, but she went as far as to ask my mom about what happened, and she told me that if I didn't say anything, she would. So I visited her and dropped the bomb. I've been receiving lots of messages from my ex's brothers, mutual friends, and some of my ex's relatives saying that I shouldn't have done that, and now my mother-in-law hates my sister and have been crying frequently. As much as I feel bad for her, I can't say that I didn't feel like I dropped a heavy weight and I can finally breathe. I don't think I did something wrong, but I wanted to know some outside opinions. In my opinion, OP didn't do anything wrong. She just told the truth. Why should she hide it? To protect her cheating ex and her sister? That's just ridiculous. Mother-in-law also has a right to know. OP's ex and her sister made their bed, so now they can face the consequences. And now let's see what the community's opinion on the matter is. Fatigue Error says, what a crappy situation, but you are not the a-hole. And what was your ex and sister's plan? Suddenly pop up and pretend that they only started dating after the divorce? There's the a-holes. His Marca says, Not the a-hole. Anything that can be destroyed by the truth should be. If your sister and your ex didn't want his mom to think that they were cheaters, then they shouldn't have cheated. Mandaloriana 2022 says, not the a-hole times 1,000. Your sister and your ex-husband are the a-holes. You are speaking the truth, plain and simple. Your ex is doubly the a-hole because he should have been upfront with his mom, as well about why the divorce was happening. But he couldn't even do that. Shine bright, OP. You deserve better than this guy, and I can't even with your sister. She will see that this guy isn't worth it, and then she will have no one left. Keep doing you, OP. Plenty of fish in the sea. Wishing you well during this time. I came from an extremely religious and conservative family. My parents had me and my twin brother late, infertility, and they were filthy rich. One thing they always made clear was that if they knew one of us was dating men, they would write us out of the will. I've known I was gay since I was 10, but I didn't want to lose that fat heritage, so I kept my mouth shut. My brother was the opposite. He decided to come out when he left for college, and sure enough, my parents disgraced him. They literally gave him money to cover all his college expenses until he graduated, and they never spoke to him again, making it clear that at no point I agree with this, but I didn't say anything because I'm simply not on good terms with my brother. I have autism and ADHD, and so I have a lot of difficulties, unlike my brother who was the brightest of the family, my parents' world. This directly impacted the relationship between me and him, because I was the defective son that my parents could not return to the factory, and my brother always took advantage of that. After my brother came out, I became the favored son, and even dated some women at the time to take the pressure off. My parents passed away in October and November last year. In their will, 75% of all their money was mine, and my brother kept 25%, the minimum allowed by law. My brother tried to object, but my parents did something very detailed so he wouldn't have a chance. They didn't say why in the will it would be annullable, they just made their wishes clear. I don't agree with their motivation, but if my brother had just kept his mouth shut for a few more years, and he probably would have gotten the 75% instead of me, making it clear that 25% is a lot. After years of never having been with a man, I finally decided to come out, and I'm in a serious relationship. My brother found out through some mutual friends, and he basically called me saying that I had betrayed my parents all these years to get half of his share, and that the minimum, ethically, was to give him his deserved share, because I only earned it by lying to them. I denied it, saying that I just had no reason to come out if I know there was a lot of money on the line, and he hadn't thought about it. It wasn't my fault. Some friends and family are criticizing me for this, saying that I should do right in light of my parents' motives. So, am I the a-hole? By the way, I'm clear with the law. We don't have a relationship. We just have the same blood. My brother is the same person as when I left the ICU after 30 days of virus, before he came out. He didn't even send a message asking if I was okay. The same person who called me stupid for failing a year at school. The same person who said I was the defective child my parents can't return, and cannot put up for adoption because they're religious, and many worse things. My parents' motivation was terrible, but I don't want to help someone who was terrible with me. Army Unistar says, everyone sucks here. I'm sorry, but you decided to date women with the thinking of breaking up with them. You used them and hurt them. It's your choice if you come out or not, but the fact you dated women to take off your pressure is really where you're a major a-hole. Your parents were major a-holes, but do you believe that him being gay is a good reason to cut off his inheritance? Give him his half, dude. From his point of view, this is obviously a hypocrite move. He was cut off communication with his whole family because of his sexuality. At least you could have contacted him. Your parents basically ruined your relationship with your brother. My brother always took advantage of that. The part where your brother is the a-hole. But the only reason he didn't get his 50 is because he is gay. But you know you're gay too, so make it 50-50. Like no one is asking you to give your 75 to him and take 25. Just make it 50 each. Emilia V says, everyone's saying OP is the a-hole, but he was being taken advantage of by his brother. OP and the brother knew about how the parents were. OP played the long game. Guarantee it hurt him to have to pretend to be something he wasn't. The only thing I think really makes him somewhat a-hole-ish is using women as a mask. But that's not what this Am I the A-hole is about. I might get downvoted, but not the a-hole. Cute Resolution 6795 says, I say not the a-hole, especially with how you were treated growing up. You don't owe him anything. Ignore all the a-hole rulings. They're only focusing on the gay part and not the full story. My son, 17 male, is a cheater. He's had a girlfriend, 16 female, for 3 months, and a boyfriend, 18 male, for a year. I've talked to him about it, and he just says he's going to figure it out and break up with one of them. That was 3 months ago. So his boyfriend was at our house today, and they were watching something on HBO Max. So I decided to invite his girlfriend over to hang out, since she didn't have to work today. I figured if he can hang out with his boyfriend, he can hang out with his girlfriend. She shows up and rings the doorbell. I asked my son to open it. He panicked and tried to quickly hide his boyfriend, but realized that wasn't going to work, so he just let her in. Boyfriend asked who his friend was, and he just said her name. Everything was fine until he tried to kiss my son. Then he tried to explain everything. Boyfriend gets mad and starts yelling at my son. Girlfriend starts crying. My son broke up with her and apologized and said he'd call her later. Then he started crying and apologizing to his boyfriend. I thought watching his lies blow up was quite amusing. My significant other and son are saying I was wrong to set him up like that. Am I the a-hole? Hen of the Woods 1 says, "You're the a-hole." Yes, he was in the wrong and not treating these people respectfully. But this was not a good way to teach him this lesson. In time, I guarantee this drama would have unraveled on its own anyway. And in my opinion, you should have just let it run its course and left him to face the social consequences naturally. To meddle in the business of these teenagers by staging a disastrous situation for it all to blow up was kind of cruel to everyone involved. Shane Viz says, "You're the a-hole." I'm not defending your son in any way, but what you did was a pure straight-up a-hole move. He's only 17 years old and not yet fully mature, and is probably still trying to work himself out and whether he's straight, bi, or even gay. And this could very well have destroyed any trust your son had for you, and you will have nobody but yourself to blame if that is the case.